guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming, and sitting down sort of the Gaming Drag today. I'm coming back at you with the Let's Play episode of Sileo, Tai's Path. So y'all, before we jump into it, just want to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming not safe for work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. You can count on me, Tai.
Very good. I am placing my trust in you. Please ensure it is not misplaced. Hunter, gather your things and meet me out back. I'll be waiting in my car.
Sure thing, Tai. Won't be long. Tai smiled before heading out the door. I turned to Diego. Thanks, Diego. I appreciate you doing this. I'm doing it on one condition.
Oh? Well, what is it?
You'd better record it. Heh. Alright, I'll try and get a video for you. You'd better. I'm holding you to it. I reached under the counter and collected my belongings, ready to head out. All the while, I quickly snatched Diego's wallet, sliding $200 bills into it as inconspicuously as possible. Heh, gotcha. Can't refuse my money now, you stubborn bastard. Thanks, Diego. I'll see you later on. Later, dude. Don't forget. I won't. I exited Tai's bar through the front door and circled around to the back of the building where Tai was parked. Hopping in through the passenger door, Tai turned to me with a smile.
I will be stopping back home briefly to collect my gear and to fetch a change of clothes. Then we will head over. Sound good?
Yep. Ready when you are. So the two of us set off in the direction of Tai's house before making our way to the venue. As soon as Tai and I had driven up, I recognized where we were. After all, this very venue was one that I helped to build only several days prior. As we made our way inside, we found Lucas making adjustments to his drum kit. Tai greeted him as we approached, and he turned around to face us.
Lucas, how on earth did you procure such a location for something as simple as a jam session?
This? A crew built it a few days back for a show the other night. They hadn't quite gotten us around to pull it all down yet, so I asked if they'd mind keeping it up for a while.
And they just agreed?
Some palms were greased.
Oh dear, how much? I will reimburse you.
Don't you dare.
But I simply couldn't ask you to...
Enough. It's fine. Tai sighed to himself, recalling Diego's similar refusal to accept my cash earlier in the day. I couldn't help but laugh.
Hunter?
Ha! I had a very similar discussion with Diego this morning.
I see. I cannot imagine he was as stubborn as my dear old friend here, though.
Oh, he was. I was left with no choice but to sneak it into his wallet just before I left the bar.
Now that is not a half-bad idea.
Don't you dare. Tai broke into a cheerful laugh, but I couldn't help but mimic as Lucas scowled in our direction.
Ah, but that reminds me, Lucas, I haven't yet mentioned.
Mentioned that the two of you patched things up?
I suppose Hunter's presence here makes that obvious, does it not?
I'm happy for you, Hunter. Thanks, Lucas. And Tai?
I know. I made a terrible mistake, and it is one I am committed to learning from. After all, I am most fortunate Hunter took me back at all.
Second now. Water time. Alright. Water is done. You are. Don't forget that.
Strangely, it seemed as though Lucas had taken a side in this whole situation. Or perhaps Lucas and Tai just had one of those sorts of friendships. They had known each other for a long, long time, after all. Nonetheless, I greatly appreciated Lucas's support in all this, and I admittedly enjoyed seeing that side of him. It seemed as though he had developed something of a soft spot for me. What I didn't know was why. Was it pity after what I'd been through with Tai, or did he genuinely like me in some way? Or maybe it was relating to one of the secrets the two were keeping. I felt strongly for Tai, despite us only knowing each other for a short time, but despite this, I couldn't help but wonder what secrets I wasn't privy to. For now, all I could do was trust that if neither of them will tell me, it's for a good reason. At least I hope so. Anyway, it's been a while since we've done this, hasn't it, old friend? Have you played it all since our last gig?
This kit hasn't been set up in years. It seems to be in good order now that I've turned it up. But the last time I saw the light of day, Glenn puked on my left bass drum.
Ah, yes, by the end of that show, he could barely stand. We all knew it was coming, of course. Can hardly blame him for it.
Can't you? I'm the one that had to clean it out. Still smells faintly. Ugh. To answer your question, though, I play every few weeks whenever I'm feeling musical.
Ah, that's right. You have an electric kit, don't you? Wouldn't rightly be able to play the real thing without driving the neighborhood mad, especially knowing how you drum. Excuse my curiosity, but how do you mean how he drums? Lucas here broke sticks and heads like nobody I've ever seen. In our first live show, we had to borrow a set of sticks from the next band running, and he broke those too.
Would you have it any other way?
Of course not. Nobody quite sounds like you do on the kit, my friend. Besides, it doesn't come out of my cut.
Lucas sighed, scratching his head with an unusual-looking drumstick he was holding. I had to replace my electric kit a few months ago, and cracked the plastic underneath the pads.
You only have yourself to blame.
You guys don't mind if I butt in with questions, right? I don't know much about all this.
Of course not. I do not mind one bit. And I am sure my dear Lucas feels the same way.
That's twice now, Tai.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Huh?
Not to worry, Hunter. Now, did you have a question? Oh, that's a weird-looking drumstick, Lucas. What's the deal with it?
Carbon fiber. Much harder to break than wooden sticks.
Didn't stop you on our last show.
That was deliberate. You guys played hard rock stuff, right?
Originally, yes. The frontman Glenn was big into heavier stuff. And during the early days, that was okay. But we were kids who were pissed off at everything, so we made do. Our more mainstream stuff got more attention, though, and after a while I wanted to get serious. And try and build a career. But Glenn was insistent on going his way about it.
It's like, no.
Lucas and I had mellowed out a bit as the years wore on. Glenn hadn't changed one iota.
The stick up his ass got bigger.
Well, yes, the man had an ego, and as we grew older, we had more and more trouble seeing eye to eye with him. Anyway, Lucas and I have already agreed on a couple of things. One is that we're here for fun. We play what we enjoy playing, and we have zero expectations for any returns. And second is that we find somebody to fill our ranks with those same aspirations. Someone happy to play our later material and have a good time.
What Tai here is saying is that it'll be someone who is not Glenn.
Well, I suppose that is accurate, yes, but yes. At the very least, I would like to play at least one show, and to do so we require someone who can play bass guitar. Our early material is largely out of the question. Glenn's voice was very different to mine, and I simply wouldn't be able to do it justice. However, a certain deep-voiced bull may just be able to, were he to agree to singing from behind his drum kit.
Not in a million years.
The very response I had anticipated. Such a shame. Anyway, we have chatted for long enough. I think it's past time that we played something.
Right. Lucas sat down at his kit and double-checked everything as Tai cracked open his guitar case, retrieved his guitar, and connected it up to the set of amplifiers on the stage.
Please, allow us a moment to warm up.
Tai began to strum his guitar, playing different chords to familiarize himself with his instrument. Meanwhile, it would seem Lucas had finished his checks as he began warming himself up. The two of them continued to play in isolation of one another, creating a cacophony of mismatched sound. For a moment, I wondered what I walked into before remembering that this was little more than them messing around to get their bearings. Finally, the two of them had concluded their warm-up and were ready to play something for real.
All right, Lucas, ready for showtime?
Ready and waiting. Lucas reached over to his phone, which sat atop one of the amplifiers, and started the backing track for the upcoming song.
Superb!
A few moments passed before the backing track counted the song in, and then, as soon as Tai began playing, I recognized the song I'd once heard. The song is one I'd heard on the album that Lucas had given me. They sounded thinner than normal on account of having no bassist, but their playing sounded as good as ever, and Ty's voice had seemingly only improved over the years. Remembering my promise, I grabbed my phone and began videoing the performance. Lucas noticed first. His response a predictable scowl. However, when Tai noticed, he smiled and turned up his theatrics, proving himself to be a born frontman. I sat there in awe of the talent before me. Hearing it on the CD was one thing, but seeing it live was something else entirely. It was an exclusive show, only for me. My heart fluttered as Tai hit some high notes during the chorus. He'd never been more attractive to me than he was right then. Alright. After an hour or so of jamming, the show had concluded with Lucas insisting he had a busy day ahead of the following morning.
That was a terrific performance, Lucas. I'm looking forward to next time.
Second now. Yours as well. See you both later.
Farewell, my friend.
See you, Lucas. Following Lucas's departure, both Tai and I sat side by side on the edge of the stage before engaging one another in conversation.
Can't believe how good you guys are after all this time. Seriously, I'm so impressed. Back in the day, the ladies in the front row would be reduced to a quivering mess.
Popular with the ladies, eh?
Indeed. Sadly for them, they were not quite as popular with me. I'm glad that the effect also works on handsome young men like yourself.
You can say that again. Pretty sure I got a simmy the first time you sang that chorus.
Careful now, Hunter. I might well ask for proof one of these days.
I'll hold you to it.
I don't suppose you heard of any bass players, did you? Oh, guess it sort of slipped my mind, sorry. Ah, that is quite all right. After all, there's no rush. But please do ask around when you have a chance. Lucas has already put out an advertisement for auditions, which we will be holding in a few days' time. I'd be most pleased to see familiar faces among the applicants. All right, I'll ask around. Hopefully I can find someone. Indeed. Thanks for letting me come here tonight. I'm really glad I got to see this. Ah, it was my pleasure. I quite enjoyed having a spectator, if I am honest. I've missed doing this. Hopefully everything goes to plan and Lucas and I will be back on stage shortly. If tonight's jam was anything to go by, it's gonna be unmissable. I sincerely hope so. You know, perhaps I should even write a new song to debut at the show. It might be time to visit my old spot. Your old spot? Indeed. Back in those days, I used to head out to this place in the forest north of town, far from the noise and the hustle and bustle. It was a perfect place to write and sing, and with no better audience. I wonder what kind of audience such a location would provide. Perhaps he referred to the wildlife that live in such a remote location. Or perhaps the best audience when Ty was writing a song was no audience at all. What do you think you'll write about? Perhaps I will write a song about somebody very dear to me. Did he mean me? Or perhaps there was somebody else that was important to him that he wanted to write a song about. I didn't want to make a fool of myself by jumping to conclusions, so I simply nodded and smiled in reply. Ty smiled back before standing up and retrieving the case which once again held his guitar. It is rather late, is it not? Perhaps you and I should be getting home. Would you fancy a ride, Hunter? I looked out the window. We weren't hugely far from Diego's, but it was pitch black outside with only a crescent moon casting its meager light upon the streets below. Perhaps I should play it safe. Only if it's no trouble. Why would it ever be trouble? I would do a lot more than that just for you, you know. You know that, although I hope you do not mind if we make a brief detour. Oh, what did you have in mind? I would like to pay the bar a quick visit. Make sure the doors are locked and everything as well. Say no. Make sure there is more than a crater left after Diego was left in charge, right? Yes, that is more or less the truth, although I sincerely doubt things would be that bad. Ty smiled brightly back at me as I stood up. Together we both made our way out the door of the venue, switching off the lights as we departed and making our way to Ty's car. After having checked the bar and made certain that Diego hadn't set the place alight, Ty dropped me back at Diego's, but not before planting a loving kiss on my forehead before I left the car. Arriving inside, Diego was busy lazing in his usual spot without so much as having changed his clothes. Dude. What? So jealous. That video you sent me? Holy shit, was it just me or do they sound better than they used to? Oh, I'm not the only one who thinks so? Damn, dude, next time you gotta let me go instead. I don't care if you've got a boyfriend privileges, I'll date Lucas if that's what it takes. Ha! Good luck courting that cranky bull, and Eric would probably hate you for the rest of your life. You sure? Knowing that horny rat, I bet he just want to join in. And besides, thought you said you weren't going to date anyone. I know, I was only kidding. Besides, can you imagine dating Lucas? You spend half your life wondering what you did to piss him off only to realize he's always like that. You know, somewhere deep down he's actually kind of sweet. Huh? What are you talking about? Yesterday at work, he sat down with me, told me how he knew what was happening, and, well, he was really sweet about it in his own awkward way. Man, how come I'd never seen this? And probably because you keep getting on his bad side. Heh, you're probably right. Daddy forgives me for my last staff member referral either. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Armor. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to not safe for work content as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!